Vanakkam and welcome to this edition of Indulge Auto. So today we have another electric car for you. What we have essentially is the new Tata Punch.ev with some changes that have come with that we'll point out to you along the way, and some significant changes in the battery packs, motors and a lot of other stuff. So stick with us while we tell you what is new, what is hot, what is not, and why this car is significantly different from its predecessor. So while some of you might be a little hard pressed to find what exactly are the big changes on the exterior, let me start by saying that, if you remember, the earlier Punch EV had connected DRLs right in the front. Now that has been taken out in this car, that has instead shifted to the back. But what you do have here is the familiar charging port, the front camera. This is for, of course, the road, this thing, and over here you have the LED headlights, LED fog lights, and the general profile remains the same. Some of you will also notice that the trim has moved to grey instead of black for the astute eyes. Rest, the side remains mostly the same. You have the camera here for the 360. This is a dual tone color, a very striking color of yellow, if you ask me. And of course, this profile too remains the same. The connected tail lights are right here, which we are going to show you in a moment. At the rear also, you see that the black treatment has given way to the grey bumpers, which I sort of like, with this brushed aluminum kind of finish. I know it's plastic, but yeah, whatever that is. You remember we had mentioned that this had connected tail lights at the back, so that is right over here. As I said, Tata has always been giving some nice animals. That's a wild touch, but I love it. Here you have a rhinoceros, a rather small rear screen, and of course a built-in kind of a spoiler with a shark fin antenna. Let's see what's inside the boot actually, because that is the most important thing here. Now, when you open it, you see there's not too much of space. It's about 166 liters, but the thing is that I think it's adequate for a family running around in the city, or maybe if you're planning that longer trip. For a small family, you have adequate space here. There's a puncture repair kit. Of course, it doesn't have a spare wheel now. So yes, that is what it is. Overall, small, nice place. If you want a little more space, if you're transporting more stuff, you can always flip the rear seats and make a little more space. But otherwise, I think this is more than adequate. Shall we take a look at the interiors now? The interiors of the car, of course, are as plush as it can be. You have this faux leather, they call it leatherette these days, unfortunately, and some fabric here with a grey finish. This perforation looks good. You also have seat coolers, ventilated seats. Right there, you can see the button there. This finish, again, this is something that I have criticized over the past, because I feel that these little dots here actually make this finish look dirty to otherwise what is a very nice, seamless, dual color finish. But no doubting the phygital, as they call it, physical plus digital, if you note. Paneling here, which is for the aircon and lock, unlock. These are all touch buttons here, even for the 360-degree camera, which you can have here. You can have cameras on any which side you want. And you have 3 charging ports here. This one connects to the display. There's a 65-watt fast charging port and, of course, a 12-volt socket. There is also a QI wireless charging system here. This, of course, is your transmission system. You select between park, reverse, neutral drive, and you can select between city, economy or sports mode as you may prefer. There's an ultra economy mode also to help you conserve battery, and this is of course the electric parking brake and the auto hold system. Coming over here, you can see there are two 10.25 inch screens. Now the one here, this acts as your infotainment and other display systems. So yes, I'm running wirelessly Apple CarPlay. You can run Android Auto as well. This is showing me my current Google Map status, music, and everything else. Over here, you have another 10.25 inch screen which gives you all the essential driving info that you might need, right from not only your speed but your range, your regeneration, and all other details that you want. One very interesting feature in this is that the blind spot monitor, which gets activated when you press the indicators, they can either be displayed on this center screen or on the dashboard here, which I think is a nifty feature. Of course, the sunroof is always here. You have a SOS button if you get into trouble, which we hope you don't. The visor on this side has a mirror, though not illuminated. Over here it has just a ticket holder. And of course, this great D-bottom steering wheel with the illuminated Tata logo and multifunction controls, which we find to be quite nice. Seats are overall comfortable even for someone who is generously proportioned like I am. This was as far as the front is concerned. Shall we get into the back and see what's there? So at the back, okay, granted it does not have much space, but don't forget this is an ultra compact city SUV. But you do get a charging point here, that's 15 watts, USB-C fast charger. The car has 6 airbags, and you can see there are airbags all around me, which is good. And suppose you were to punish somebody by making them sit in the middle right here, then of course you have a 3-point seat belt for him or her. My favorite feature? Yes, center armrest, but funnily enough, there are no cup holders here. So if I want to have a beverage, I'll have to hold it in my hand. Scooped out seat backs, little bit of magazine space here. So yeah, not bad. I would have actually preferred 2 USB charging ports, but they are not here. Fit and finish is as good as can be. So overall, not a bad place to be. You may not want to do an ultra long drive in this, but for general use, this is quite comfortable. Of course, you charge from here, and what the company claims very interestingly is that you can get in about 15 minutes 135 kilometers worth of range if you go to a compatible fast charger. Otherwise, of course, you have your normal times where it takes, if you have a 7.2 kilowatt charger, you would do about 4.5 hours for the 30 kilowatt battery and maybe an hour more for the larger 40 kilowatt battery. You know, earlier below the bonnet, you could say there is an engine, but now you cannot anymore because it's now an electric motor, as is the case in this car. So let's see what we have here. Now, okay. For the most part, you cannot see anything, but there are 2 battery options available. There's a 30 kilowatt hour and a 40 kilowatt hour battery. The one we're driving today is the 40 kilowatt hour, of course, neatly packaged and sealed off from public view with this little cover on top. This has a frunk, so about 15 liters of space here. You could put small objects or even the charging cable inside this. And of course, as you can see, the motor is somewhere below this with 2 batteries. There's it's a 65 kilowatt and a 90 kilowatt motor powered by, as I said before, a 30 kilowatt hour battery or a 40 kilowatt battery. Now, the company claims you can get about 350 kilometers on the larger 40 kilowatt battery. So yeah, we'll be driving the car after this and we'll tell you our views. But meanwhile, let's hit the road. Driving the Punch.ev is again a very pleasurable equation, and I've always maintained that driving an electric car gives you much more peace of mind, if you think of it, than an internal combustion engine, because forget everything, forget the fact that you get much more feel and all those things which a driving enthusiast would say that is there in a car like this. But the thing is the peace, the quiet, the tranquility, the availability of instant power. I believe that once you put your foot down, you just go because you have this full torque from 0 RPM. And that is what matters, driving practicality. And with the company claimed, 350 kilometer range for the bigger battery, I think it's quite a nice thing for this car. And as we said, it now has that quick charge top-up facility where if you go to a compatible high-speed charger, say about between 65 and 120 kilowatt, you can get about 135 kilometers of range in just 15-20 minutes, which I think is again an amazing thing that has to happen. So overall, this car is very comfortable to drive. It has all the Tata qualities of having a solid feel, a good steering, a very good infotainment system, and a driver display. All in all, very comfortable whether you're sitting in the front or the back. And I think that this is one vehicle that will suit your needs if you're a small family, a bachelor, or someone just looking to get his first EV. It ticks all those right boxes. So there you have it. We have just driven the Tata Punch.ev with its many attractive features. And the best thing that I like about this car is its pricing. Now you can have it from 9.69 lakhs ex-showroom onwards. And I think that's a great price. There is also a scheme available called Battery as a Service, which means the prices start at just 6.49 plus 6.49 lakhs. And you have to pay 2 rupees 60 kilometer, 2 rupees 60 paisa for every kilometer you run. I think that's a great combination. And overall, this car does get a thumbs up from me. How much would I rate it out of 10? Well, it's a practical car, it's a family car. You may be a little short on boot space, but it has most of the other features. So I think it deserves a solid 8. I hope you enjoyed being with the car as much as we enjoyed bringing this to you. Please subscribe to our social media channels. Please drive responsibly and buckle up. Stay safe.